You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to today's episode of Collecting Weekly. This is the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us in collecting. If you're joining us for the first time, our content is available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and on Instagram and Facebook. You can reach us by searching Collecting Weekly on your preferred platform. I'm here with Paul. Paul is the manager of my favorite store in town, Gravity Damage. Paul?
Thank you for telling me that's your favorite one. Surprise.
It's not a lie. I actually budget money for Gravity Damage.
Very awesome.
It is, I really just love it. And not only that, but it's 4 minutes from my house and it's awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about Gravity Damage for those that aren't aware?
Cool. So Gravity Damage, we're, I'd like to think, the premier comic book and collectible shop here in San Antonio. We kind of specialize in pretty much a little bit of everything. We do Funko Pops, really high-end graded comics. We have a little bit of everything, other figures and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, you guys also have props, Sideshow premium formats. You have a one-to-one collection that, I think is probably the best in town with that Boba Fett and some of the bigger Gentle Giant stuff.
Yep, carry a little bit of everything.
For the rare slab books, I know those are by appointment only, so if anyone's looking to buy those, definitely hit up Gravity Damage on Facebook. You guys are on Facebook? Are you guys on Twitter or YouTube? Or?
Right now we're just doing Facebook. We're working on a YouTube channel and eventually Twitter, hopefully. But right now we're just at Facebook at Gravity Damage Collectibles.
Okay, and you guys are located in San Antonio, Texas,
yep,
and you're
correct.
open 7 days a week?
Yep, 7 days a week from about 11 to 7 on a daily basis. Yep.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're open, that's such a good, amount of time to be open. It's not too late, and 7 days a week is just awesome. So let's break the ice. I know Marvel, the in-game trailer came out recently, and the Captain Marvel trailer. What did you think about those trailers?
Oh man, so Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, probably one of my favorite characters. So super excited to see her in a movie. And Avengers, crazy. The last one was amazing. So
Yeah,
what can they do?
It sounds like a cop-out to say that Avengers is probably the movie of the year, but
yeah.
Looking at everything that I've seen this year, I've heard the new Spider-Verse movie is like a lot of people are saying it might be the best film of the year.
Pretty amazing.
I am going to check it out tomorrow, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be so good. I know you guys are also doing a premiere for Captain Marvel. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the owner of the shop, Bill, he's really big on giving back to our customers. So we actually did we tried out a premiere last year for Star Wars, and it went really well.
Yeah.
We filled it up really fast, had a lot of good feedback on that. So when the Captain Marvel trailer came out, we're like, okay, cool, this is the one. Let's do it. So we rented out a theater downtown, and we'll be doing that once the premiere comes around.
And it's a Thursday premiere for that one.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I was at the TLJ premiere, and I just thought it was so cool. Like, I think at first it was like one ticket per customer, and then as it got closer, Bill called me and was like, hey, we were able to get a second ticket. Do you want to take your wife? I thought that was really generous. Not only that, but if I remember correctly, there was like snacks they all bought for us, and then at the end of the movie, they brought out a huge table with 3 3/4 figures, and everyone got to take one. And I was just like really blown away by that, because I mean I've rented theaters before for different things, and it's not cheap, and then snacks at a movie theater are definitely not cheap.
Yeah, definitely not.
and then that's like a $10. I don't know what 3 3/4 are now, but that's an expense. And then for you guys to do that, rent the biggest theater on opening night of Star Wars is like, I mean, to me that was like the epitome of like awesomeness that I've ever seen any store do. So shout out to you guys for doing that. And then I don't know that I'm gonna be able to make the Marvel premiere, but I mean, it's just so cool that you guys are doing that. That is for your subscribers, so it's for your comic book subscribers.
Yeah, correct. So that'll be for comic subscribers for now, which it'll probably fill up. So we'll see. Yeah. So if not, we'll fill it with everyone else.
So for you guys, comic subscriptions are free, I believe.
Yeah, correct. So we do free comic book subscriptions. Where I've heard other places may not. We just kind of are more relaxed about that. So you just let us know what titles you like, and we get them available for you.
Yeah, so you guys are actually the first store that I ever like bought comics with, like in terms of like, you know, a series. And so I was just assumed like that stuff was free. But I talked to my other friends that live in other cities or, you know, even that subscribe to other stores, and apparently that's not common.
Yeah.
And also the one thing that really surprised me is, like I said, now I'm getting into more comics and talking to more people that buy comics. I just assume that like when you buy a comic, it comes in a bag and a board.
Yeah.
And apparently it doesn't. So
No, yeah, definitely not. I think we're actually one of the only, or we might be the only store in San Antonio and maybe probably in South Texas that does bagging and boarding on all of our comics, which generally costs money.
yeah, I mean, how do you guys do that? Because I know, like, you know, obviously the incentive books, like those, I think not all of them, but like, you know, the 1 in 100 or the 1 in 500,
Yeah.
you guys, you know, charge a little bit more for those. But, you know, the regular comics you're charging retail, you do free subs and free bagging and boarding. And like I said, it's not, you know, you don't get those for free. How are you guys able to keep that price down? Is it just like, you know what I mean? Like it's it's impressive.
Yeah, it's not free by any means. The bag and boards cost money for us, but going back to the whole customer experience, we just wanted to go an extra mile, kind of show people that, you know, we're willing to give up a little to, you know, give a better experience, and you're not getting a damaged comic book, or you're not getting one that's been thrown around at all. We have it fresh, ready to go, and ready to be picked up by our customers.
Yeah, and speaking on the customer experience part, you know, I follow you guys on Facebook and I interact there. The one thing I think is really impressive is how responsive you guys are to comments. Like, you know, if someone's looking for a specific variant cover or adding a specific, you know, for me, like I'm an art collector for Star Wars, and if I bought every Star Wars comic book, I would go broke. So there is like, you know, specific covers that I'll see and be like, okay, like I don't really want to buy the line, but can you drop this in my sub box? You guys are always like Johnny on the spot to respond to that. You know, obviously that's something that takes time. It's not like there's just a bot that's replying to these.
Yeah.
How many people were on the team? Because it really seems really fluid from, you know, the top down.
Yeah, so our team's actually a lot smaller than most places also. Including myself, it's 3 employees. So I work during the weekdays, and then we got 2 other guys, Jonah and Rob, that do the weekends.
Okay.
But on the social media side, I pretty much work every single day. So
that's you. That's
yeah. Generally speaking, it's gonna be me or Bill.
Yeah.
Up in Houston, replying to everything. But we try to get everything replied to, just to show everybody that we acknowledge their comments and everything. Yeah.
And Bill, for those that aren't familiar, is the owner.
Yes, correct. Bill's the owner of the shop. Comes in here and there, helps out.
I know he was there, I think, for the first good chunk of the store's existence, and then I think once it got to a point where it was he was able to bring you in and then a few other people, and I think he's you know, stepped away from the management duty as it became more of an owner.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really impresses me, you know, aside from the Facebook thing, aside from the bagging and boarding and the free movie premiere and just all the cool things you do, every time I go to your shop, it's so impressive. Most of the employees, I'm not really like that. I don't really know that many employees because I usually just go in when you're in. And I think it's so impressive that every time I'm there, usually there'll be like another person working. Everyone seems to know the customers. Like at least one of y'all knows first name basis, the customer. Oh, you know, I got this in for you. Check this out. I remember one time I was so surprised. I sent my wife to pick up a book for me. It was just a weird week and I couldn't get there. And Bill, the owner, was there, and we had just bought a house, and he was asking her like, "Oh, I see you guys got a house. I see Zach got a new case." And I mean, that to me is just so impressive that you guys know your customer. And like I said, every time I'm there, it's not just me. It's not just because, you know, I run a Facebook group or have a podcast. It's, you know, people that I know that are in the community that don't collect that much, but, you know, that is to me just so impressive that you guys seem to know pretty much everyone that walks in the door.
Absolutely.
Now, I guess on that subject of, you know, just how impressive things are, I know Manny on one of our podcasts mentioned it, but he really adores the fact that you guys price at retail. I know some shops in town really price above retail. And then there's some shops at town that get pretty close, and then there's some that do also price at retail. That I'm not, I don't really shop at those outlets, but what is the difference for you? Like, how are you guys able to price at retail? Is it because there's only 3 employees, or is it just a personal decision? Because I mean, Marvel Legends at $19 or whatever they cost, $20. I mean, to me that's really impressive when some other stores in town are charging the hottest figures of that wave for double.
A lot more,
I remember when Jaina Solo was hot, the 6-inch Black Series. You guys got cases of those for retail, and to me that was so impressive. What gives? Is it just for the experience, or I mean, is there some hit that you guys are taking to do this? I mean, it's
so that one's that's a lot easier for us. That's more of like a personal choice. Top down from Bill when he was in the shop, and now to me. I've been buying collectibles and comics for, since I was like a teenager here in San Antonio. I've been to all the shops, and it's kind of disappointing going somewhere and seeing, I found it, but it's way more here. So
it's eBay price.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well.
Being from a customer perspective, I just wanted it to be accessible for everyone. So we have statues that are definitely like triple what they were at retail, but we still want to keep it at retail, want to get good products to our customers and keep them affordable to where, you're not paying an arm and a leg, and you're not having to go to another retailer or having to go to eBay to pay those prices. So it's available, it's at a good price, and hopefully that gets us more customers.
So how long have you worked for Gravity Damage? Were you a customer first and then you applied, or or did you just see an ad somewhere?
So I started going into Gravity Damage before it even opened. A friend of mine had tipped me off about it. He was just saying, there's this new shop in the street. I'm not sure if it's open, but go check it out. And I did, and Bill was nice enough to let me in and go check it out. And I'd been going there for a few months, and I was running a restaurant at the time. And when I graduated college, Bill asked me to come on and see how I liked it, and I enjoyed it. And it was something I could relate to a lot better than running around in a restaurant. So,
what was your major, if you don't mind me asking?
I have a bachelor's in communication. So
nice.
Talking to people.
There you go. Hey, there you go. And here we are.
Yep.
Exactly. One thing that I thought was really cool, I've seen this a few times that I've been in the shop. I come from a different background, and I've been in different hobbies, and been the president of a nonprofit that was for it sounds really nerdy, but like fish keeping, marine fish keeping.
Awesome.
And so with that kind of hobby, there's a lot of mom and pop fish stores around town. San Antonio is very fortunate there. And unfortunately, the relationships between the owners of those stores, I've seen a lot of trash talking. I've seen some of it publicly, some of it privately. There are other stores in town that stay above that. But I've seen some times where I've been in the store, and there's owners of other stores that are there for an hour just chit-chatting with Bill or chit-chatting with whoever. And it seems that the relationships are pretty good. How does your shop develop those relationships? Are they, generally speaking, good with most of the shops? I mean, I think I've seen like 2 or 3 different owners. I don't want to name them specifically, but at your shop, just talking shop and talking about trends and customers, or hey, watch out for this. How does that work? I mean, for me, when I saw that, I was really, I wouldn't say touched, but I was pretty impressed because, like I said, from the background that I'm in, it's really cutthroat, and it's
definitely.
Lots of trash talking, and maybe because it's a hobby with a huge amount of pride, and collecting is a little bit more laid back. But I mean, can you talk to that?
Yeah. So prior to the shop opening, I know Bill reached out to a lot of the owners and tried to get a little bit of insight on the whole process of having a store. So I think that's where a lot of the friendships were made. And prior to me shopping there, I've been doing comics for years now. So like even as a teenager, I was going to like all of these shops. I kind of developed relationships with everyone that way. So Yeah, I mean, Bill's definitely like a very talkative dude. So
He's very charismatic.
yeah, he's a charismatic guy. So it was not hard for him to like make those relationships. And same for me. I'd been shopping at all those stores, so I pretty much knew everyone already. So
Yeah.
and a lot of people like to think there's a lot of rivalry between stores, which is definitely not the case. Like everyone's very nice to each other. If anyone can help anyone, it's very everyone's very readily available to help out.
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about our
Yeah, because
industry.
the thing is, I mean, I shop mostly at you guys' shop, but I also hit up Alien Worlds. I also hit up
Yeah.
some of my friends that have these smaller booths.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone kind of shops everywhere. So that's really good to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, in the fish hobby, it's like you have your store, and that's like,
Yeah.
they order for you. It's exclusive, and
Definitely.
there's very few people that bounce around. But that's really nice to hear. Bill, I've talked to him in the past about this, but he wasn't a comic book store owner before he owned Gravity Damage. What did he do before, and why? Do you know why he wanted to start a comic book store?
So Bill's definitely a businessman by nature. He's worked for a lot of huge companies. It's kind of where he got his money from, I'm sure. But he wanted to open a cool community store, give jobs to people, and just provide like a better experience.
Yeah.
And Bill, I'm pretty sure collects figures, so it's just like a continuation of his hobby. I think he
Yeah.
wanted to just do it on a bigger scale, and the store is pretty much his collection now. So
What an impressive collection.
yeah, biggest collection in town.
So for you personally, what lines do you collect, both in terms of comics and figures?
So comics I've been doing for a few years now, probably since I was in high school. I like independent books, just anything that catches my eye. Horror stuff is probably my favorite. I really want to get into figures. I'm not quite there yet.
Okay.
But I really like NECA stuff a lot. That's probably where I'm gonna start off. The shop's
Yeah.
definitely to blame for that, but
Yeah,
we'll get
NECA has some good products.
yeah.
$20-$25 gets you a NECA Ultimate, and I know Mezco is I think they're trying to claim that whole like Hot Toys scaled down.
yeah.
But I just don't. I mean, I don't know if you guys carry Mezco, but I just don't like it that much. I much prefer the price point and the quality of the NECA
NECA
over
figure.
the Mezco stuff.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
because some of the Mezco stuff is literally half the price of a Hot Toy, and it's like,
Yeah, it is.
you get it definitely gets up there. I know I've seen this process happen a few times at the shop on a Tuesday, but can you get in a little bit of how pulling sub comics work? Because I know you guys have a huge number of subscribers. I've seen it's obviously very organized, but I've seen your stash. I don't know what you call them, but
Yeah,
the boxes
little
where
boxes
you put.
behind the counter.
How does that work? I mean, obviously, I assume you have a list that you go off of, and roughly how long does that process take?
Yeah, so pulling subs is not a fun job. We get a lot of comic books every single week, thousands sometimes, and basically we just make sure everything's there, and then you get a big list printed out that tells you every title that each individual person wants, and you just got to go through each one and pick out the covers, all that stuff. And then of course we have Facebook, where a lot of people will make requests, things of that sort, which will be for different covers, certain
Yeah.
titles they may not have
Man,
on their
that's-
regular subscription. So it's a whole day process,
Okay.
but we get it done.
Yeah.
Somehow with 3 people.
With 3 people. Yeah, I always feel so bad every once in a while, because for me, I subscribe to the Vader series, which I think is ending soon.
Yeah, that's seeing an end pretty soon.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because I want all the covers, and there's some covers that you guys pull for me, and I'm like, sorry, I meant like just the covers with Vader,
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
do like the galactic icon. I feel so terrible, but like they just make so many covers for this line, and it's like, okay, like I don't want to buy a Snoke cover for my Vader book.
Yeah,
That's
there's
such a
some
weird.
unnecessary ones sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I just don't really get it. I really have to respect what you do. I mean, when I was in school, I worked at a women's clothing store, so that I didn't spend my paycheck where I work, and it was
That's
genius
smart.
because
That's a lot smarter. Yeah,
Christmas, like, oh, my mom would like this, or my girlfriend would like this. Now my wife, But is it hard to be in an environment where you're literally surrounded by like the coolest stuff that, literally like from any price point?
Yeah, so it's gotten a little easier now. Definitely when I started, it was a lot
I guess
more.
you probably become accustomed to it.
Yeah. So it's been at the beginning. It was definitely a lot less controlled. It was if I see something I like, it's mine. But now it's I've seen a little bit of everything, so it's a lot easier to narrow down what I buy. But and definitely I can't afford a lot of the stuff we have. But
yeah. Bless your heart. I know you're a big comic guy, more so than the figures. Is there a current line that's like a go-to for you, or even not necessarily one that you're currently subscribing to, but if you're having a bad day or you just want to kill 30 minutes, are there books that you go back to? Like I know for me, I really like the Vader Down series.
Yeah.
Vader and the Lost Command is a really good read for me. And I usually read those like once a month. Is there a book or a book series or just a specific comic book that you read often? That you kind of go back to?
Absolutely, yeah. So when I was in college, that's when I kind of started reading a lot again. So
hopefully, it's a good time to start
mostly
reading.
Comics, yeah, which took away from studying, but that's all right. So Preacher probably is my favorite one. Garth Ennis series from like the 90s.
And I'll be totally honest, I have no idea what that is. Can you give me just a little bit of a synopsis?
Yeah. So, well, it's really popular now because it has a TV show on AMC.
Oh, okay.
But it's about this guy, and he's like a preacher, and he gets the word of God, which just allows him to like control people, basically. It's really out there. The writer, Garth Ennis, is kind of known for just having real do whatever you want crazy stories, so that's kind of what it is. It's just fun to read.
Is it a series of books, or?
Yeah, so it was a like 60 some odd issue run, and I must have read it at least 10 times. It's a good story, keeps me busy.
Yeah, and I really like now that at least for the books that I collect, I just read the Darth Vader books, but I love the digital comics like that come with the book.
Yeah,
I mean
definitely.
I'll be totally honest. I get the book, open it from the bag, take the code,
yeah.
and then I never touch the book again.
Yeah.
I usually frame them if they're really nice covers. I probably should sell them because I've got way too many of them. But how has digital comics changed? I mean, I guess you guys began in an era where that was already a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But do you think that digital comics might in the future affect the way that the physical books are sold, or do you think that there will always be the market for the physical feel of a comic book?
So I definitely think it's affected it just a little bit, but mostly in a positive way. I think a lot more people are buying it just for accessibility's sake. So basically, you buy a book, you got 2 copies. You got a digital and you got a physical one. But I definitely think the physical market will remain strong because that's where all the value is. So you can't resell a digital comic, but you can resell a physical one or hold on to it for 20 years and your money's all in there. So I think it definitely helps the market, if anything, on both ends. So.
Yeah. I know you guys sell a lot of pops. I know you guys have a lot of pops.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's spend a little bit of time there. Do you have a favorite line of pops?
Oh, anything movies. Horror movies is definitely my favorite. I collected those like right when pops came out. I was like, oh, I'm sold. Definitely buying those. Have a bunch. They're all signed. Love those. Definitely my favorite. Easy.
And I know not only do you guys stock a lot, we also buy a lot of collections. So how does that process work? I know for me, one thing that really turned me off from another store in town, and I really don't want any drama, so I won't mention it, but I had some pieces of a collection that I wanted to sell to buy an expensive collectible. And I called in advance, and I asked him if I could schedule an appointment because it was, I thought it was a lot. It was like 10 pops and some other stuff. And I called them and asked them if I could schedule an appointment. They're like, no, we don't really do that. Came in, and when they realized I wanted to trade those towards a hot toy, they're like, oh, you need to make an appointment. It was just a huge nightmare. It was a pain in the ass. How does the process go for Gravity Damage? Because, like I said, I see several times a day that you guys picked up a lot. A lot, and also a lot of pops.
Yeah, of both. Yeah, in both ways.
In both senses of the word. So how does it work when you guys buy? Because not only I don't think that you guys just buy pops, but you also buy other collectibles and books. So how does that process work?
So pops are definitely the most frequent thing that comes in.
Okay.
But I try to do them as much as possible. If anyone brings them in, I'll at least take a look. But we try to just have like more pristine looking pops come in. So if anything's damaged or anything like that, we tend to turn it away.
Yeah.
Just because we want to have a reputation of having quality.
But these aren't specifically by appointment only. It's just,
no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, anyone can come in at any time. I do get a lot of people asking, like when's a good time, and it's whenever, as long as we're there, which is all the time. Then we look at them
7 days a week.
Yeah, so it can be 2 pops or 300 pops. It doesn't matter. I'll take a look at them, and I'll do what I can to make a sale go through for sure.
What is the biggest lot that you guys have bought at once? I think I've seen it happen. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me this was like incredible. I saw the beginning of the deal, and then the next day at the end of the deal, someone had I guess traded in or sold all the Game of Thrones pops, and that was a huge lot. I don't know if that's the biggest lot, but it was pretty significant. And not only was it a huge lot, it's a lot that had a lot of really, really expensive pops, like the SDCC Headless Ned and some other stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the biggest total number of pops you guys have bought at one time?
We had a gentleman bring in some Star Wars pops one time. That was probably close to 300 pieces by itself. So we had a customer that was real loyal customer, and he was just saying, I think I'm just going to go to Marvel pops. I'm going to go and get rid of these Star Wars ones. And I was like,
and how long does that process take for you guys to is that something you like come back later?
No, I try to get it done right then and there, just knock it out. So that time must have taken me at least 2 hours. You have to go through every single one, make
condition
sure. We check condition, of course. We try to see if we don't have like an excess of it already.
Yeah.
If I have like 40 of them, I try not to pick up another one.
Yeah. For your buying, do you use mostly, because I know a lot of stores are different, do you guys use mostly like eBay Sold or PPG as a reference for where you start to negotiate from?
So a lot of stores are starting to use Stashpedia, which is another thing, but that one tends to take into account like fake ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to talk about that too, because I know with PPG the thing is there's some sketchy auctions that go down to raise or lower prices, and
PPG, I know they try to filter that stuff out, so we tend to stay with that. That's just a more reliable source, and it's more consistent, generally speaking. So we use PPG a lot more.
How many pops do you think the store has on hand at any given time?
Oh boy,
it's significant. It's
an unfathomable amount. It's just amazing. Even right now, we're thousands and thousands for sure. Yeah, couldn't tell you. Way too many.
Do you have a favorite single pop of yours?
That I own, probably Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie. I have that one signed by the actor. That's by far my favorite one. Love it. We'll keep it forever.
Yeah, for me, it's totally not a significant pop at all. But I remember. There was some black series I was hunting down, and it was such a pain. But I remember I sent my wife on a trip, and she found, as a surprise, a Unmasked Darth Vader pop, which is like an $8 pop. It's
still
really
awesome.
Yeah, but I was like, this looks like the sculpting, the paint. I was like pretty impressed. I mean, nowadays pops are, I almost feel like they've kind of lost not their appeal, but now you have like the dynamic pops and like the diorama pops, and it's not really like just like
it's not as a standard.
They've changed a little bit, like like the Boba Fett with the jetpack and the dynamic, and not that I'm saying that that's bad or that it's not cool. But for me, like that's like a classic pop, my favorite character, my favorite scene, and my wife surprised me with it. It's just kind of like a culmination of a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's probably one, like you said, I'll never get rid of. What is the rarest pop that you guys have at the moment?
Currently.
Do you guys keep that like behind lock and key, or is it like kept off the shop? Because I know some of these pops can really get expensive. Like, there's obviously like the $300 pops, but there's like PA Vegeta, like some of these ones that, I guess kind of what is, can you name some bangers for me that you guys got?
Oof.
For those that are listening that maybe want to check you guys out.
Yeah, right now, just like a few hours ago, we got a lot of like ad icon cereal like character pops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which are kind of pricey. So we got Tony the Tiger.
Oh,
He's
nice.
380.
Jesus
So
Christ.
yeah, that's the top one right now. But we've had a few come in that are $multi-thousand.
I think I've seen at one point you guys had a PA Vegeta. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, we've
but
had
I've
multiple
seen-
in actually.
Jesus.
Yeah, $2,000, and they don't last more than a day usually, which is
Jesus.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
So do you guys sell those? Obviously, like comics, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to sell a $3 comic on the internet. But
Yeah.
when you guys get these crazy expensive pops, do you list them on eBay, or is it mostly just word of mouth and just advertising from the Facebook? They get someone to walk in to drop, whatever a PA Vegeta costs. I have no idea anymore. It's so expensive, but. Like I said, I've seen like when you get expensive stuff like that, someone will ask the next day and it's usually gone. So is it just word of mouth, or people just drive in from wherever to get them?
Our Facebook's definitely the big helper there. We don't list anything online. Bill used to at the very beginning, but now that we've grown our customer base a lot more, we just sell everything in the shop. So
That's incredible.
yeah. So generally speaking, any large pop that comes in usually sells within a day or two.
Yeah, I remember one time, totally unrelated to Pops, but I think Bill had gotten in like 2 or 3 Hot Toys Holiday Special Boba Fett's.
Oh, yeah.
And they sold like in a day.
To the same guy.
Yeah,
someone
and it was
bought
from a
all of them.
Facebook post. It was
Yep.
just like, Jesus, that's...
Yeah, and we do phone payments too. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
so
I
there's
didn't
a
know
lot of
that.
people. Yeah, we just started doing that like a month or two ago. But people will call and pay over the phone, and
Mm-hmm.
like in that instance, someone had bought all 3 just in
Jesus.
like 5 minutes.
Do you guys do PayPal?
No, we don't.
I know that was a thing that I was really hoping in the past.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing that, but we just generally use like a regular Square
Okay, so it's
point
like
of
card number
sale.
over the phone.
Yeah, so it's just card number over the phone, just to keep all our numbers together.
I have to ask, hopefully this isn't too controversial, but the thing with Pops that I always hear as like the counterpoint is that, Pops are going to be the next Beanie Baby.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk to that for a little bit? I don't
Yeah, definitely,
think that they
definitely.
will, because for me the Beanie Baby was like, there's some that do have some sentimental value,
Yeah.
like I think there's like a Princess Diana one, or these characters that were relevant to pop culture.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
for me, Pops are so ingrained in like the things that matter to us, movies, TV show, sports figures, television actors,
Everything.
cereal.
Yeah, literally everything.
Can you talk to that for a bit?
For sure.
Because like obviously you guys have a ton invested in that at the moment, and is that ever a concern for you guys that one day the bubble might burst, or?
Yeah, not at all. I think Pop's definitely, they're a strong market. But what I like about our shop is we didn't put all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah, you guys have a ton of stuff.
Yeah, so which I doubt, Pops were to bottom out, we definitely have comics. We got the statues, figures, all that. So definitely not worried about that at all. But I think Pops definitely will have a lot more of
I think it'll have a longevity. Yeah,
Absolutely,
for sure.
yeah. So they definitely have dipped their hands in everything. Where Beanie Babies were very one-track minded.
Yeah.
They would throw logos on them.
Yeah.
Pops are
Oh, now they're even
literally
sports
everything.
Pops.
Yeah. So and they're a lot more accessible as far as you can find them everywhere.
I mean, they even have like 7-Eleven exclusive Pops. Like
Walmart. You can go in any shop, even HEB now, and it's there. So I mean, I think they definitely have more of an accessibility that no other product has.
Yeah.
And the price point is there where anyone can go in and buy one. $10 and it's yours. And good gift.
I remember seeing. I used to really be into Funko. Not so much anymore. Now that I'm into 6-scale stuff. But I one of the best things that I've seen when I was collecting. Someone was saying like, oh man, like I started into Funko like right at the beginning, and then I got out, and getting back in, there's a lot of stuff that was pretty much like worth nothing that's worth a lot now.
Oh, yeah.
And he showed a
Absolutely.
picture, a selfie that he took at I think it was like a Hot Topic, and there was a stack of I don't know, Shadow. I don't know. It's like a black Stormtrooper pop that's worth like a crazy amount of money now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The Shadow Trooper.
The Shadow Trooper,
Yeah,
and it was like a stack of them, and they were like on sale for like $4.99 because they were on clearance. And those now, I have no idea what they're worth now, but it's a tremendous.
1,000 plus.
and he was like, this was me when I first started collecting, and I passed up on it. And it's like, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and buy them all. It's just ridiculous. I know on our last podcast, I'm not sure if you heard, but my good friend and our co-host Manny, he had traded the pop version of this hot toy for a hot toy, and his fiance had purchased the pop for him on Amazon for like $20, and then like a year later, it was worth like enough that someone would a store owner no less would trade a $250 brand new hot toy for that.
Yeah.
Which to me is incredible.
Yep.
And that's kind of the reason why I got out of it, because like I could spend like $200 on this and have this badass die-cast Iron Man, or like $200 and have like a 6-inch vinyl. Which, I mean, hey, if there's people that buy it, that's fine. But for me, it's like I just really like the displayability of these a little bit more. Moving on from pops, is there a certain figure that surprised you with how well it sold? Maybe a figure or a line where you guys like only ordered a few and then had to order like a ton more. Is there anything you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, very recently actually, we ordered some Marvel Legends. I believe it was the Spider Wave, the one with the big Robo Spider-Man deal. Man, we ordered maybe 3 cases.
Is that the one with the Spider Pig?
That was
that's
the Venom Wave.
Build-A-Figure Wave.
Yeah. So we had ordered a lot on that Venom Wave, and they've been
selling
a little bit, taking a little bit more time.
So how many, I guess, do you buy them by the case, I guess, or by
we
the
do,
wave?
yeah. We buy by case. So with Venom, we ordered maybe like 20-something, and we still have a few. But that Spider Wave, we're thinking, maybe we need to track down a little bit. So we ordered 4, and they were gone in a day. So I had to reorder some recently. But yeah, those some of those Legends, you just don't know. Sometimes they fly off the shelf. Sometimes they take a little while.
On the flip side of that, is there a figure or a wave that you guys were like, this is going to be a hit, and then it releases and it just doesn't sell well, that you can think of?
Not while I've been there. Generally, I try to see what's popular or not. But definitely in the past, Bill's ordered some pops where we have a lot, and we still have a lot.
Yeah,
so,
and I guess going from that question, how does ordering work? I think when I talked to you about it one time, you were saying that Bill does a lot of the ordering.
Yeah.
But do other stores compare metrics? Because when I worked retail, I worked for a chain. So when I was doing the ordering for that clothing store, you would just see this we need to order, and it was like almost foolproof. You couldn't get it wrong because you had your last year's sales data for that date, and then you had your sale that you were doing, and then the metrics from all the other stores, and then the metrics from other stores from last year. Obviously, you guys are a single store. Do you guys just kind of have to guess the market, what it might be, and reorder if you need to? Obviously, there is expenses, so you can't just order a billion of everything, and literally in space, of course. How does that work? If you can't tell me too much about it, because it's
not at all. Yeah.
To me, that's just such an interesting concept.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's an interesting part of the whole process for sure. So, in terms of toys and stuff like that, it's kind of just based on knowledge, just knowing, I live in San Antonio my whole life. So, I've seen what sells, and I used to work for ThinkGeek.
Okay.
Under GameStop.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I used to do a lot of we didn't really order more than we requested things. So I kind of saw what's popular. And that was about 2 years ago. So from that experience, that kind of showed me what's needed in a comic book shop. So through that, that's kind of what I use to gauge what we need to be at as far as an order goes. Comics are a lot easier.
I guess you have your subs, and
you just kind of have a program that tells you here's what you need to order, and then everything you kind of just go on the side of caution on that. So you just kind of see how much more do I need or how much less. Kind of like that.
How do I guess they call them variant or incentive comics. I know obviously it's 1 in 100, so I assume that means you order 100 books, you get one of them. are they just shipped with the 100? Are they packaged extra carefully? Because some of these, I know when like the Spider-Man, I think it was the 400 cover, there was like 50 billion covers, and some of them were like 1 in 500, some in I think even 1,000. Those more rare books, do they just ship like every other book, or there's a little bit more care taken?
They're shipped together, like.
I guess what does a shipment of comic books look like? Is it just a box full of books?
A bunch of stacks of books, yeah.
Okay.
So, like all of your regular books are all kind of stacked on each other and thrown in a box and sent to you. Incentive books, however, are kind of just put in a smaller box and they're bagged and boarded already. And luckily with Diamond, our distributor, you can send it back if it's damaged. So that's nice. Yeah. And they replace it. So. That's what's nice about incentives, because definitely with like a book that retails for $500, you don't want it to be damaged. So yeah, that's
and how is the retail determined for those incentive comics? Because I know, I guess is it just like generally speaking, like a 1 in 100 comic goes for about X dollars, a 1 in 500. Because I guess the thing is like you have to also consider like the artist that's doing it, the particular book, how popular that book is. I think I only own one variant. It was the 1 in 50 Thrawn Matina cover.
Yeah, great
and
book.
I think that one. I think when you guys got it, I think the retail was like $100. Maybe it was like $110 for that book. I didn't order it through you guys. I found a graded one like a month later, like a slab one. But how does that pricing work? Because there's so many factors to consider. Or do you guys just pick a price and run with it?
So. How pricing works on those is kind of just on the opinion of whoever's pricing it. So generally speaking, we kind of just keep it to the ratio. So if it's 100, 1 in 100, then we sell for 100.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth, where maybe online retailers will do 125, 150.
Yeah.
It just depends on who's pricing
like I said, the numbers I see they're all over
Yeah,
the
they
place.
can be kind of over under depending on the book. Also, like you said, popularity definitely has a lot to do with it. If you have a book that's going to be $800 down the line, but right now it's a 1 in 100, then you can sell it for $200.
For sure.
Yeah, we kind of just we kind of price it as low as we possibly can with where we cover our cost essentially.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, is there a line that you don't currently carry that you'd like to? I know there's a line that I have that I'd love for you guys to start carrying. But
which one is that?
Well, I know a long time ago. Like I said, when you first opened, I was there like the first week talking to Bill, and he had said that he wanted to at some point get to carrying like 6-scale Hot Toys in Sideshow. Like I think you guys get them as like special order or trade in, of course, but not often as like regular stock. Can you think of any lines that you guys that you personally would like to carry, or that maybe that the store would like to carry? I mean, you guys pretty much carry. You have Gundam model kits, Pops, Marvel. Can you think of something that that you'd like to carry? I mean,
yeah, definitely. I think where you're coming from is definitely same deal with me. I'd love it if we had Hot Toys and some Sideshow stuff. Once we have more room, I think we will eventually.
Yeah, because the boxes take up a lot of space.
Yeah,
the figures take up a lot
exactly.
of space.
And the cases are not super fitted for that. Eventually they will be, and we'll get to that. I'd definitely love to have that in the shop. Yeah. And right now we test marketing NECA. I'd really like to like full blown carry NECA stuff. That's one I've been really on board with for a while.
Yeah, that would be awesome because I know Target started carrying them when Toys R Us closed.
Definitely.
And we have a friend that's part of their program where you're affiliated with NECA and you go in there and you like kind of tidy up the space. It's like a really weird thing. Like I don't. Yeah, like the fact that you just go into Target and tell the managers like what needs to be ordered. It's kind of interesting, but that would be really cool if
I'd
you guys
love
carried
to have
NECA.
NECA. Yeah, definitely.
There's
Eventually.
some NECA stuff. Like I'm not a huge NECA fan, but there are a few figures that it's like, man, like it's a lot of figure for $25.
Yeah, very detailed, very awesome.
I think the last one that really surprised me was I'm pretty sure it's NECA, the City Hunter Predator from Predator 2.
Yeah, they've
it's
done
a badass
some
figure.
All their Predator figures have been great.
Yeah.
Love to have those. Yeah, eventually. And we get a lot of requests for them too, so they'd be a great little part to the shop. And I think we're going to come next year, I think we'll move into that a little bit more.
For sure. Can you tell me a little bit about we're almost wrapping up here, but how did you start collecting? Because I know you don't do a lot of figures, but like books, was it just something growing up that you just got into?
Yeah, mostly it was like a distraction from my parents. I was like, here, this is $1, get a comic book. And that kind of got me into it when I was a kid, mostly in like in reading. But once I was in college, I think I started seeing that there was a lot of books that were like just really cool that I really wanted to own, and just a lot of characters I grew up with that were in there. So
yeah, for sure.
And I definitely see it like as an investment as well. So I have
sure.
a lot of books that are gonna stay with me till I retire or whatever.
Cash flow.
Yeah, exactly. Money later down the line.
There you go. Is there one thing that you would say is the most rewarding part of the job that you have, which is, of course, managing the comic store?
Oh yeah, just meeting people is super cool. Like I said, I used to work at ThinkGeek, and I made a lot of cool relationships there, and I have a lot of customers now that used to be customers of mine there in the mall. So definitely, it's meeting a lot of really cool people. Meeting a lot of people that like the same stuff is really fun. I get to talk to a lot of people that are just interesting. So it's not bad to enjoy being at work. So
yeah, for
I like
sure.
to talk to everyone.
For 2019, I know you touched on it briefly that you wanted to get into NECA. Is there any other goals you have for the shop, or even just the brand? I know I've talked to Bill about it, and he's thinking of opening some locations in other cities. Is there anything for San Antonio specifically that you have in mind that you and Bill want to work towards for next year?
Yeah, definitely cleaning up the shop a little bit. As you know, we have a lot of stuff in there, so getting that a little tidied up, kind of focusing more on the things we really enjoy in the shop. Just making a good experience, continuing our reputation as being a good shop, and personally me just making more connections with the customer and getting more customers.
Yeah, there you go. I know you guys are running the $5 pop special until I think the end of the year. Do you want to plug that?
Oh yeah, $5 pops till the end of the year. We got more than anyone in town, and
Common Pops.
Yeah, Common Pops. Exactly.
Yeah,
yes. Thank you.
I'm gonna get my Tony the Tiger $5.
Yeah, not that one, but
any podcast.
Common Pops $5. We got a bigger selection than anyone in Texas probably, and
what constitutes a Common Pop? Is it just something that's in print currently?
Yeah, so it's something that's being produced currently, and anything that's not an exclusive, essentially. Which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that we have. So,
well, I appreciate you coming on the show today. Always good to have a new face. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I had my wife on. A lot of people were like, "Hey, that's really cool to get the perspective of the spouse of a collector." And I was talking to some people, and they're like, "Well, what's the next step?" And they said it'd be cool to hear from a manager of a collectible store. So we have you today. There's another smaller store that's going to come on. They're called Geek Mill. They're going to come and tell us about their business. Cool. But I really just want to plug the guys in town that I work with a lot. So you guys, of course. Is there any last things you want to say? Any shout outs or any last minute store plugs that you guys wanted to give before we close down the podcast?
Shout out to Bill. Thank you for the job. Shout out to all my employees. Doing great.
Shout out to Bill for letting Paul come on.
Yeah, thank you for letting me come on. And thank you for letting me come on and talk a little bit about the shop and everything. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Zach. Thank you guys for listening to Collecting Weekly. We'll be back Tuesday night, Wednesday morning for our 2018 Figure of the Year Awards podcast. And hopefully you'll catch us then. Remember, we're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, and Facebook by searching @Collecting Weekly. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.